The price of love. Death doesn't wait for our permission. It comes uninvited, unplanned, and it changes everything in a single breath. It can be the loss of a parent, a partner, a sibling, or even a beloved pet who's been your silent companion through life's storms. But why does it hurt so deeply, even when we know death is part of life? Welcome to Unbox the podcast. I'm your host, Sahar Huneidi Palmer, intuitive life mentor and your guide to conscious living. This season is all about the power of your story. Rewrite your story. Reclaim your power. Today we're talking about a story none of us can avoid. The story of loss. Not just death itself, but the emotional aftershock it leaves behind. Is there a right way to grieve? And why can the loss of a pet unravel so many memories and emotions we thought we had laid to rest? To tell you the truth, death has been on my mind the past few weeks. My cat Kenyo, who I mentioned in the last episode, was battling aggressive cancer. It wasn't only his decline that occupied my thoughts, fast decline, but it was the way loss brings you face to face with the truth. As much as we can accept death intellectually, emotionally we wrestle with it. When my late husband died, I couldn't say the word died. It felt too final, too sharp. My heart was in unbearable pain. An old friend and a client from the States sent me a message that I have never forgotten. Sahar, take your time, grieve your way, wear black, white, or red, drink or pray, do what you feel, and do it well. It was such a relief to hear that. It was like permission to be human. But when my father passed away over 30 years ago, the response was different. Everyone said, "You've got to be strong for your mum now." And so I was. I didn't cry. I didn't crumble. I simply got on with it for 2 years. That grief went underground and my body held the score. My eardrum burst and I went deaf in one ear for months. I had a recurring shoulder pain that lasted as long as my silence. When the floodgates finally opened, I cried until my heart was empty. But in that emptiness, I healed. 13 years later, my brother died. It was a different kind of pain. Siblings are supposed to grow old together. So I sobbed uncontrollably for 6 months. Yes, 6 months. Then one day, my husband just walked in. We had only been married for a year and said, "Sahar, in 20 or 30 years, we are all going to be dead." It stopped me right in my tracks. He was right. My sobbing, though natural, was robbing us of our time together. I wanted to be present for him. I wanted to live life while we had a life. 10 years later, he passed away. The shock and the grief were infinite. My friends insisted that I join them for a Sufi full moon meditation. I went not for me, I just wanted to be left alone, but to honor their care. We were asked to focus on our heart center. As soon as I did, I saw the full moon imprisoned behind iron bars. A voice whispered, "Why did you imprison me? You locked me out." I was taken aback. I realized my heart was completely shut. I wasn't feeling, I was armoring. Later that night, I replied to a friend's condolence email and I wrote, "It hurt so much." His reply was short. "That's the price of love," he wrote, and it was. I began to see my grief differently. I wasn't only mourning my loss, I was honoring the privilege of having been loved so deeply by my father, my brother, and my husband. Then one night, as I was still grieving, I felt something way down at the foot of my bed, as if someone had sat there. But no one was there. Instead, I saw like a hologram, a bus filled with people, people I knew, people I loved. And I heard my brother's voice say softly, "Life is a journey. We're all heading to the same destination, but some arrive before others." That moment shifted my grief yet once more. It wasn't just about whom I had lost, it became about honoring their journey, honoring their life, and supporting them both in life and in death as much as I could. I began to feel fortunate again, as if they had entrusted me with their soul in those final days. Less than 10 months later, I lost my mother. By then, I understood something I hadn't before. Sometimes the most loving act you can do is to let go. On her final day, I looked deeply into my mother's eyes and I told her, "Mum, if you want to go, you can. I will be all right. Don't worry about me." She searched my face as if to ask, "Are you sure?" I nodded. Moments later, she took her last breath. And this morning, Kenyo, my companion through illness, stress, and the quiet days of grief, it was his turn. He was born in my garden right after my husband died. And then he disappeared for months and then returned when he was injured, asking for help. He never left my side since. This morning, he climbed into my lap. We sat together for an hour or so, and it felt eternal. I thanked him for choosing me, for coming to me, for loving me so generously. And then it felt like it was time. He crawled out and into his bag, and I took him to the vet. Yes, it is a loss, but it is also a blessing. I would change nothing. Love, you see, isn't measured by years, but in presence, in the connection and the care that we share, in the way that keeps our heart open no matter what happens, even when they keep breaking. As the quote goes, which is commonly attributed to Rumi, you have to keep breaking your heart until it opens. Life changes after we lose someone. We change. The roles we played change. The identities we assumed shift. And then, of course, there are legal matters, daily routine, the sound of the house. Everything changes. But grief isn't a problem to be solved. It's like a companion we learn to walk with. When my father died, I went straight back into work, and a client told me, "My father died 16 years ago, and I want to tell you, it doesn't get any easier, but you get used to it." I understand that now. But what keeps me going is not avoiding the pain, but keeping alive the shared love and memories and the deep knowing that every day counts. And whether the love comes from a person or a pet, it's still real, very real. And it's such a blessing to have received it as a gift. Love doesn't come with an expiration date, and your openness to continue exploring it and receiving it, even through deep pain, is very powerful. If you're walking through grief now, remember that there is no single right way to grieve. Your journey is your own. What matters is finding meaning every day, honoring the love that you shared, and allowing your life to unfold in ways that reflect who you truly are, the real you. Somehow, it teaches you what's important about life, and it teaches you what your core values are, and it teaches you what gives meaning to your life. So honor your life. Keep unboxing it. Release your potential and give each day a meaning that you can live with, even when it hurts. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I'll see you next Tuesday on Unbox the podcast. If what you heard today touched your heart, follow and subscribe. And if someone in your life needs to hear this, please share it with them. You never know whose life you might change. You'll find more free tools, ebooks, and online courses at saharhuneidi.com/shop under online growth.